we had a discussion about taxes and the impact on salons with this one tax law that's the distinction between restaurants not having to pay taxes on tips and salons having to pay taxes on tips, which is an odd unfairness in tax law, but that's something that's being worked on right now, but hopefully it passes, I don't know. But fundamentally, something bigger than that is the fact that salons as a whole are shrinking. Employee-based salons are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and there's not as many. There's also not as many stylists in the field. We're losing stylists who are going to school, paying for school, and not finding a home in the industry, and that's disturbing. So there's something happening in our industry, and it's preventing the growth of the industry, or the betterment of it too, because I see a lot of salons are closing, or switching to another model, which is the a booth rent or suite rental, which they have a niche and they have their spot in the industry as well. The issue is there aren't enough salons to support the students that are coming out of the schools that need mentoring and training beyond the schools, because the schools don't provide everything that a professional needs to be highly successful. And there's a very high failure rate in the industry.
Even in suites, what is recommended, like if you go look at a suites website or something, or if they come to your school, what they recommend is they actually recommend you go work in another salon first before you come and open a suite, which is kind of just like, kind of says it all, you know.
Well, and that's, you know, and that has led to a lot of resentment in salons too, because salon owners pour their heart and soul into an apprentice or an associate or somebody right out of school, and they build them up and they grow them and they develop them, and then they go off and they leave to a suite. Now, in looking at that another way, because we as salon owners have a responsibility in the matter, like why are they choosing to leave? What are we not providing for them that they're leaving? What are salons not providing? What are we as owners not giving to those people that are leaving that has them want to leave? Like what's missing? And I know a lot of the conversations and a lot of the forums is about, well, they're millennials, which is you, millennials, and they're lazy and they don't have the same values and
they don't
now
have the same work ethic, or
no
they want to work
ethics.
when they want to work.
And they don't want to work as many hours. They don't want to trudge through the snow. They don't want to train as much. They don't want to do the work that another group of us had to do.
In the past generations had to be done, and that's all I ever hear. I still hear it even as a younger generation working beneath that generation.
So not only, and then it's the next, the Ys and the Zs and whoever it is that I hear a community saying, well, that's the reason why, and they're just ungrateful and they just don't get it and they're just unwilling and all the rest of that. Well, being a parent of a millennial or millennials, a couple of millennials, the same way, it's like we raised millennials, so we're responsible. But at the same token, what matters more right now is if we were to do some self-reflection and say, well, why do people leave? Well, why do they want to leave our business? You know, what are we not doing? And I think that's a really, fundamentally, the bottom line here is they're still people. You're still a person. You have the needs that you have. Now, what qualifies me to have this conversation? Because I'm no expert in it. I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or any of those. Just somebody with some experience in business. We have a chain of salons that have been in business for over 40 years, and I haven't worked here for 40 years, but I've been around the business my whole life. I was born and raised in the business.
Of that happening.
Came up in the business.
Something you have to continually, I mean, I grew up learning how to deal with that, because, you know, I would grow up and you get close to people and then they're gone, and you don't know how to feel about that. You know, it's a weird feeling. And that's what I think empathizing with salon owners, I understand how it feels, that you pour your heart and soul into people and then they leave. So what ends up happening is I think a lot of people get resentment even towards a group of people like me, especially as salon suites become more prevalent. You know, it's all, oh, they just keep leaving. So then you continue to build that anger and resentment towards them, without looking at what can we do to make sure to better this industry all around and to continue to have actual salons and to have that community and love and passion that we love to give. That's why we're here. We want to give. We want to help build these people, future stylists, and continue the industry to grow. So reflecting at what we can do to make sure that continues, you know.
Yeah, well, what do I have to do? Like, how do I have to alter myself and our business and our culture so that they don't want to leave. They don't want to go anywhere else. Or if they do, if they're that unhappy here, then it would be appropriate and okay for them to leave. But, you know, over the course of the last year especially, making sure that the people, that I do everything I can for the people that are here so that they really want to be here. And if they don't, it's totally okay. But the bigger picture is this for our industry, because I see it's having such a significant impact on it, is what do we need to do? How can we be that, and I don't mean giving them everything that they want, because it's really fundamentally not always about money. A lot of times we think it's just about money, like the bottom line is dollar. And that is so not true with everybody. It's not about the bottom line dollar. Yes, that matters in the equation, but there's so much more to it than that. And I don't say this as an expert. I don't have the perfect system. I know a lot of salon owners look for, what is the right pay system? You know, there's the summit system, and there's strategies, and there's many other formats of pay systems and operation systems. This isn't to say any one of them is better than the other, or that there's the right way to do it. I know there are different formulas for it that work and don't work, but fundamentally there has to be something else behind that, because as a whole, the industry is failing, and it's failing these students that are coming out of schools that need that mentorship, that need that guidance. So many stylists I see just have thrown in the towel in the last couple of years and said, forget it, I'll just rent you the chair, just give me $100, $200 a week and it's yours, you come and go as you please, here's the key, and I don't need the headache anymore.
Well, and so at some point you can't blame them, because it is a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of work. Like, I empathize with those people, because it's difficult. It's difficult to get your heart. It hurts, you know, so why not take the emotion out of it and just, there you go, you know. But on the other side, look at what, it's so much more rewarding to, when you have the people that stay and watching them grow and watching them become successful. What an amazing feeling that is.
Well, and I think that's why most salon owners love that. I think they genuinely love that part of it, and that's why it hurts them so much when people leave. But there are other aspects to it, like what are all the aspects? I mean, that's my question as I look deeper, and to make sure that I'm doing the things that have people want to stay here and be here ongoingly. Like, are they growing professionally? Am I providing them what they need professionally? Did they come here for education? Am I making sure they get education? Or am I harping on the extra day off that they want? Or like we have somebody this week who has children who can't work this week. She cannot be at the salon as a desk coordinator, can't be physically at the salon this week. So, you know, in the past, I know in our culture, what has happened is, okay, well, we're given no choice. She can't be here, so she isn't going to be here. And we will then put a little check mark in the resent box to say, oh, that really ticked us off that she didn't work it out to, but the reality is she can't work, she can't do it. So this is, especially now, these are new times.
Well, and she's amazing at what she does. So why am I going to be upset with her, because that's her, what's going on in her life?
Oh, you know, I see it in those Facebook groups all the time. Well, how would you handle this? Well, I would write them up, tell them to look at your manual, tell them they can't do that. And that's, you know, write another rule about something, but there's some of these, it's so easy. Yeah, that's the simple way. Sure, so quote a rule and watch the turnover. Well, that doesn't mean give them whatever they want either, but at the same time, this is a young adult here who needs some support in a certain way. And there's no formula for any of this. It's just about caring about another human being. Like, I work for you. What can I do for you that has you want to be here, that has you want to have a future here? Because I don't have the answers to that. This is an inquiry for salon owners. I know we have a low turnover rate. We do. We have a very low turnover rate. We don't crank people out and have a real high turnover rate where people run off to suites. And I'm not saying we're doing anything perfectly, because you could probably ask some of our team, they could probably tell you many more than a dozen things of what we could do better, or what I could do better, or how we could do more. I'm on a quest and a hunt for that. But at the same time, I'm in this conversation genuinely because people engaged with the last video that we had about the industry. I mean, obviously there's a concern, there's compassion, there's love for the industry. People love this industry, and to watch it just go away. And I know there's great champions for it. They're doing their best that they can. The Michael Coles and the Neil Dukoffs and the strategy, the groups of people out there that are doing great things for it.
Associate programs that still care
yes.
about making the associate program and why that's important, and creating those steps along to make amazing stylists.
So I'm just inviting you to talk to me about what are the challenges that you deal with and what's happening for you. Now, we have a salary system, a salary pay system. It's not perfect, but it eliminates some of the other issues where it's all sales based and all commission based, where there has to be, and there's arguments for both, and I'm not having that conversation now. I'm just saying that our version of that is working to a degree that, I think we've gotten it better along the way, but they're paid to make people happy versus only to,
Sales.
reward sales and only sales. So it changes the environment a little bit. It also gives people a little bit of security. I wanted to make sure that people had a 401k and that they had health insurance and dental and eye and some other benefits that weren't always available in the industry. So this is an invitation to you to just have a conversation about it. Let me know what your thoughts are about what's happening to the industry. It's fragmented now. I see students who are yearning for the guidance and the mentorship, and there's not as much of it as there used to be. So as a salon owner or a salon professional or a school owner or somebody just in the business, what do you see? What do you need in the business that would help you or have you grow and develop in this?
Well, and I think the salon industry it's so important because there is so little of it left. So those of you that are still in there, whether that is a school or anything, because you can see it in schools as well, that students yearn to go to those kind of schools that have that camaraderie and the love and kindness. What are you guys doing to continue along, even though I know it is difficult? What do you feel about this?
Are you ready to throw in the towel? Are you struggling? Not that we're even going to say, here's the answer to it, but as an ongoing inquiry, because I want to do my part in sharing or supporting and doing what we can in the industry to elevate it, to make it better, professionalize it, to help the industry as a whole be more successful
or
and grow.
If you're in a suite or if you rent a chair somewhere, what is something that you feel like pros and cons of being in salons and not being in salons? Like hearing directly feedback from those
Sure,
people.
everyone, the whole industry, the industry as a whole, or if you've been in the industry and then you got out of it because you couldn't make it, or this last year has wiped you out. The percentage of people that, it's just natural for them. Customers are drawn to them. They just build business and they have a natural gift to do amazing work and be amazing to all people, and you're going to grow no matter what you do. But then there's a large percentage who really have to hustle and work hard, and it's been a struggle. So every gamut of the whole picture, what do you think?